بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أما بعد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we continue going over the tremendous book Aqeedatut Tawheed by the Fadilat Shaykh Al-Allama Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan. We're still on the chapter Al-Hukmu bi-ghayri ma anzal Allah, ruling by other than that which Allah has revealed, and we have reached the section where hukm man hakama bighayri ma anzal Allah is the ruling for the one man hakama bighayri ma anzal Allah, for the one who rules by other than that which Allah has revealed. وقال تعالى, Allah Ta'ala, He says, من لم يحكم بما أنزل الله فأولئك هم الكافرون, that whoever rules by other than that which Allah has revealed, then those ones, they are the disbelievers. And as we know from the tafsir of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, kufr duna kufr, then this could entail a disbelief that is under disbelief, meaning a minor disbelief. And as we explained in the last week's class, the Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he goes over the general meanings and the general ruling. And it is important from a standpoint that we understand in depth and in detail the general ruling. But we must also realize that the application of that particular ruling on a specific individual will be different given the situation, and not every situation is the same. So in fact, let's go back just a little. The Shaykh, he says, وَنَهَى الْإِيمَانِ, and this is going back to the ayah from last week's class, from Surah An-Nisa, verse 60, where Allah Ta'ala, He says, أَلَمْ تَرَى إِلَى الَّذِينَ يَزْعُمُونَ أَنَّهُمْ آمَنُوا بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ, to the end of the ayah. That, and have you not seen those who claim that they believe in that which was revealed to you and that which was revealed before you, يُرِيدُونَ أَن يُحَاكَمُوا إِلَى الطَّاغُوتِ, and they want to use or go to the ruling of the طاغوت, of the false deity, of the idols and the like. The Shaykh, commenting on this ayah, and continuing commenting on this ayah, he says, فَنَهَى الْإِيمَانِ عَمَّنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He negates the iman for the one who does not rule by what Allah has revealed. نعم. يدل على أن التحكيم شرع الله إيمان وعقيدة. This points us to the fact that ruling by what Allah has revealed is iman, and this is aqidah. This is the creeds from belief. وعبادة لله يجب أن يدين بما أو بها المسلم. And this is the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal, to worship unto Allah Azza wa Jal, that it is incumbent that a Muslim, he rules in accordance to it. فلا يحكم شرع الله من أجل تحكيمه أصلح للناس أو أصلح للناس. And this is a very important point that the Allama he brings. He says in that ruling by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, it is not merely from the standpoint that the rule by what Allah has revealed is more suitable for the people, وَأَضْبَطُ لِأَمْنِ الْفَقَرِ, and it is better in achieving peace and security only. That an individual, he has to understand by ruling by that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, this is from iman. This is from iman, this is from belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is from the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. Meaning that when we rule by the rulings of Allah Azza wa Jal, this is worship, this is ibadah. So an individual, he shouldn't intend by ruling by what Allah has revealed, and his only purpose in doing so is because it is better for mankind and it is more suitable for human beings. This shouldn't be his only reason. فإن بعض الناس, because some of the people يركز على هذا الجانب, they concentrate on this particular aspect. Some of the people, they focus their attention on this aspect alone, that ruling by what Allah has revealed is better for the people, is more suitable for the people, it's better in bringing about their rectification and success and so on and so forth. And no doubt this is correct. It is better for the people, it is more suitable, it is better to bring about their rectification and to bring about a state of safety and so on and so forth. But this shouldn't be the only reason that a Muslim holds on to ruling by what Allah has revealed. But he has to remember, or she has to remember, that ruling by what Allah has revealed, this in itself is worship to Allah. That an individual, he will be worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by ruling by what He revealed. So we have to rule by what Allah has revealed, worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. And in doing that, then no doubt we know that the laws of Allah Azza wa Jal, then it is more suitable for mankind. It will bring about a better state of safety, so on and so forth. Now, but it's a must that we just don't focus on the aspect that ruling by the book of Allah is more suitable. And the Shaykh is going to explain why. He says some of the people, they concentrate on this standpoint, وَيَنْسَى الْجَانِبِ الْأَوَّلِ, and they forget about the first. وَاللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى قَدْ عَابَ عَلَى مَنْ يُحَكِّمُ شَرْعَ اللَّهِ لِأَجْلِ مَصْلَحَ نَفْسِهِ. And Allah Ta'ala, He has blamed and He has faulted those who rule by Allah's legislation only due to a personal benefit. Naam, Allah Ta'ala, He has faulted those who rule by His Sharia only due to a benefit for themselves. من دون تعبد لله تعالى بذلك. Those who, they only look at a personal benefit for themselves, and they don't look at the standpoint of worshipping Allah Ta'ala by way of it. All they concern about is themselves. And this is something that is tremendous, and a tremendous benefit that we need to take note to. Because you will find individuals, they will cling on to the truth when it suits them. This within itself is blameworthy. Clinging on to the truth is not something that's isolated to just when it's beneficial for us or when it suits us. But we have to hold on to the truth, whether that truth is for us or against us. Now, because the truth has more right to be followed. We hold on to the truth and trying to gain the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. Not just when it suits us, but you find some of the people, even some of those who attribute themselves to the Sunnah wa iyadu billah, when something comes in their favor, they cling on to it. Now, they hold on to it, they promote it, they spread it. But when something is against them, when something is not in their favor, then they turn their backs on the truth as if it doesn't exist. Like they want to pick and choose. But the common denominator in all of those situations is that their only true concern is for themselves. Their only true concern is for whatever benefits them. So if accepting the truth benefits them, they take it. If acting like the truth don't exist benefits them, then they act like the truth don't exist. This is a very ugly and despicable characteristic, and something that is blameworthy, bila shak wa bila raib. Something that is despicable, and that's the least in which we can say about it. Now, so we have to be careful that when we're ruling by the book of Allah, or we're ruling by the legislation of Allah Azza wa Jal, that we just don't look at because the way it benefits us, but that we remember that first and foremost, ruling by what Allah has revealed is worship unto Allah Azza wa Jal. And we have to remember that Allah Azza wa Jal, He blamed those people who only want to go to what Allah has revealed when it is beneficial for themselves, when they find personal benefit in it. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَإِذَا دُعُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَهُمْ إِذَا فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. He says, and when they are called to Allah and His Messenger to rule between them, you will find a party of them, they will turn away. وَإِن يَكُنْ لَهُمْ الْحَقِّ يَأْتُوا إِلَيْهِ مُذْعِنِينَ. But if the truth is for them, you see, there's individuals that when they're called to rule by what Allah has revealed, when they're called to rule by the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal, they turn away, right? But the same group, if the haqq is in their favor, or if the ruling from Allah Azza wa Jal is in their favor in that particular affair, then you find that they come to it. Then you find they come rushing unto it. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. You find that if it is for them, then they come rushing to it openly, and they willingly submit to it. If it's in their favor, then they'll say, look, you see the truth, you see you see the verse, or you see the hadith, this is what we got to cling on to. Because what? It's in their favor. Naam, it's in their favor. And you find that this is a characteristic that is often found in the people of innovation, is that they'll use those ahadith or those ayat that they deem to be in support of whatever they're upon, right? But when you bring to them the whole of the situation, so whether you might bring to them the whole of the ayah, because they'll cling on to a portion of an ayah that they think is for them. But if you read the whole ayah from beginning to end, you'll find in it refutation on what they're trying to claim. So when you read the whole ayah to them, or you bring a hadith and other ayat and so on and so forth, which show them the error in their way and how they're misapplying the verse, they turn their back. They don't want it then. Ya Salaam. Naam. They don't want to adhere to it then. Or if it's in an issue that they're right, that they agree with the truth in that particular issue, then they'll cling on to that and focus in on that and say, well, look at the proofs and the evidences of this particular issue, that we are in agreement with the truth. So when you say, okay, because they're making it seem like they have a respect for the truth, right? That they have a respect and love for the truth. But then when you show them their error, and you say, but look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah says this. which shows that you're wrong in your stance on this other issue. Or the Prophet ﷺ, he says this, which shows that your stance on that other issue is wrong. They turn their backs. So then we see the reality. Yeah, subhanAllah, you try to make it seem that you vindicated and that you had a respect for the truth, but the reality, you didn't have a respect for the truth, because the same one who revealed that ayah and that other issue that you wanted us to cling on to and you kept pointing to is the same one that revealed the ayah and the issue that you're in opposition in, but you're not moving when you're in opposition. You're not moving when it's not in your favor. We don't find the same enthusiasm from you when it's not in your favor. The same Prophet ﷺ who you trying to point to this particular hadith and an affair that you may be correcting, and you want us to hold on to the hadith, and you're talking about, but we got to follow the sunnah, follow the sunnah, follow the sunnah. Where's that same sentiment when it's pointed out to you in error? And the same Prophet ﷺ that you claim to respect is the same one who said the other hadith which points out your error in this other particular issue, but then you turn your back on it. So then what we find is that what? Is that you really don't have a respect for the legislation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You really don't have a love, and you're trying to give victory to the haqq. The common denominator is that what? You're only seeking after that which is beneficial to yourself. This is very, very, very dangerous issue. Very dangerous issue that we have to take notice and to take heed to, is that we have to follow the truth, whether that truth is for us or against us. Sometimes the truth will be against us because we'll be wrong. We make a mistake. We come up short. So when it's pointed out to us that we're in contradicting the truth and we're in opposition to the truth, then the way of the Muslim is that they have to submit themselves to the truth, and they have to retract from whatever wrong that they were upon and change and comply with the truth. This is the way of the Muslim. على كل Shaykh Fawzani says فهو لا يحتمون إلا بما يهوون. He said these ones they don't pay attention except to that which they want, which fits their desires. وما خالف هواهم أعرضوا عنه, and whatever contradicts their desires, and they turn away from it. لأنهم لا يتعبدون لله بالتحاكم إلى رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. And this is because these individuals, they are not seeking to worship Allah by taking to the judgment of His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Naam. So ala kullin is a very important point before getting into the ruling of those who rule by other than that which Allah has revealed, is that we have to remember that when we rule by what Allah has revealed, this is out of worship unto Allah Azza wa Jal, worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. Going back to where we opened up on, catching back up now, what the ruling of the one who does not rule by what Allah has revealed. Again, remember, we're speaking about the general ruling, right? So remember, this is like we say the general ruling that the one who prays to other than Allah is a mushrik. That's the general ruling, right? The general ruling, of the one who makes dua to other than Allah, then he's a mushrik, he's a disbeliever. That's the general ruling. But this general ruling is something, and then ruling on a specific individual is something totally different. Because when it comes to rule on a particular individual, then you have to meet the conditions of making takfir upon a person, and you have to remove whatever preventative factors that may be there that will prevent you from making takfir on a person. In other words, for lack of a better term, or another way to express it, an individual will have to fall into kufr out of knowledge. He's not ignorant about it. He will have to intend to do it. He wasn't, he didn't do it by mistake or unintentionally. He will have to choose to do it, meaning that he wasn't forced into doing it. And he did it not because he had some type of misconception, not because it was given to him a false interpretation, but he did it fully knowing what he was doing was wrong, and so on and so forth. Now, the conditions must be fulfilled, and the mawani' must be removed. The hindering factors must be removed. Now, if a person falls into that in another way, This is why we have to establish the hujjah. Establish the hujjah, establish the proofs and the evidences, and remove the doubt. As Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he mentioned in Majmu' al-Fatawa. You have to establish the proof, iqamat al-hujjah. Naam, you have to establish the proofs and evidences against them, while removing whatever doubt he may have. Shaykh al-Islam, he also mentions, and not just that the proofs and evidence are established against him, and the doubts are removed, but what? But he has to understand the establishment of the proofs against him. You can't just say, but we read every ayah, every hadith on the issue, showing him how he was wrong. He has to understand. He has to understand what was established against him. Because if he doesn't understand what was established against him, then what? Then the issue of his ignorance is not fully removed. Because yes, you said the ayah, but he don't know what it means. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't fully understand what's going on. So he has to understand what was established against him. He has to know all of the mawani', all of the hindering factors have to be removed, and all of the conditions have to be approved or have to be fulfilled. And then at that point, the ulama will rule upon him with kufr, that he had left Islam. Naam. But again, this is something that is in the hands of the ulama. It's not in the hands of everyday people, but it's in the hands of the ulama, and this is a burden upon the ulama and upon the judges and the like. Naam. Ala kulli hal, this is how it is when we come to speaking about a specific individual. Okay? Whereas the general ruling is something that is totally separate, set aside. So for example, the person who doesn't pray, the general ruling is that they're kafir. They're falling into kufr. Now, the person who doesn't pray, the general ruling is that they're falling into kufr. So let's say, for example, we go over the proofs and the evidences in this issue about the one who abandoned the prayer intentionally. Right? And then we go outside and we see a person on the street and we say, oh, look at Ammu Fulan, he has abandoned the prayer intentionally. Can we say Ammu Fulan is kafir? No. Because that's a specific individual. That's a whole other ball game. We was talking in general. When you start speaking specifics, that's a whole other ball game. Because now you have to look at to the merit of that particular case and the set of circumstances that are related to it in order to come to the correct judgment. So we can't say, oh, but we just read the general rule that person doesn't pray as a kafir. Ammu Fulan, specifically, he don't pray, so we're going to make takfir. No, we can't do that. This is what you find the takfiri people, they do. But the deen of al-Islam is what is detailed. Every situation will have its merit. Now, every situation will have its merit. Because if he's ignorant, do we make takfir of him? No. Ammu Fulan, he could be ignorant. Right? So there's no takfir made on him because he's ignorant. Yes, he has to do out of knowledge. Right? Ammu Fulan, he could be doing it because some Sufi sheikh told him he don't have to pray. Right? He has a Tawheed. Someone lied to him and he seemingly brought things that supported their argument, and he believed it. So he thought that their false interpretation was accurate. So in this circumstance where Ammu Fulan thinks that the false interpretation is accurate, can we make takfir on him? No. Because he thought that their false interpretation was correct. You understand? So there's a whole set of circumstances that have to be investigated and known before a ruling could be made. And ala kulli hal, we're not the ones who busy ourselves with the likes of these affairs. But these things are important that we know them and we constantly reiterate them when we're going over issues like this, so that it can be known and understood that the general rule is general. When it comes to specific individuals, then the application of that is done by those who have deep insight and knowledge in the religion. So, as one of the ones he said, the Babu Takfir, it is closed and is locked, and the keys are with the ulama. The keys are with the ulama. Naam. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah ta'ala, he also mentions a very important statement that we have to know, that when it comes to individuals, and making a ruling on a specific person, he says that if a person's Islam is known with certainty, naam, a person's Islam is known with certainty, meaning that this particular person is known he's a Muslim. that's known. This is a Muslim, right? He said if his Islam is known with certainty, then it is not removed with a doubt. Meaning that if we know for sure this person is a Muslim, that's no doubt about it, he's a Muslim, then he doesn't leave Islam because of doubtful matters. Some doubt that's casted over him. Well, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. Okay, you can't. No, it's known he's a Muslim. That's how we treat him. He's a Muslim. Khalas. With us, he's a Muslim. He said he only will leave Islam with what? With certainty. That makes sense? That a person being a Muslim and we're certain that he's a Muslim, then takfir will only be launched against him with what? With certainty. No doubts, no ambiguities, no well but maybes, no room for any type of loophole, for lack of a better term. No room for any type of loophole. All doubts removed. And this is very, very, very important when it comes to what specific individuals. Very important. So again, before going into this issue, we want to remind everyone that we're speaking about the general rule. We're not talking about how this rule is applied and how it translates for individuals. We're just speaking about the general rule. So the Shaykh, he mentions, he says, قال الله تعالى, Allah Ta'ala, he says, من لم يحكم بما أنزل الله فأولئك هم الكافرون. Whoever does not rule by what Allah has revealed, then they are disbelievers. نعم. Shaykh Fawzan says, فهذه الآية الكريمة, this noble verse, أن الحكم بغير ما أنزل الله كفر, is that ruling by other than what Allah has revealed is disbelief. It's disbelief. وهذا الكفر تارة يكون كفرا أكبر ينقل عن الملة. He said, in this disbelief sometimes is the major disbelief that removes a person from the religion. وتارة يكون كفرا أصغر لا يخرج من الملة. And sometimes it is the minor disbelief that does not remove a person from the religion. You see? Sometimes a person is ruled by other than what Allah has revealed, and it will remove him from the religion. He's a kafir. Other times or other situations, a person can rule by other than what Allah has revealed, and he's not a kafir. Which shows you that what? Then there are details in there, other set of circumstances that have to be looked at and taken into consideration before the ruling comes. Now, and this is very important point. The Shaykh, he says, فَإِنَّهُ. Now the Shaykh, he starts to give you scenarios. He says, فَإِنَّ, again, general. فَإِنَّهُ إِنْ اعْتَقَدَ أَنَّ حُكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ غَيْرٌ وَاجِبٌ أو أنه مخير فيه أو استهان بحكم الله واعتقد أن غيره من القوانين والنظم الوضعية أحسن منه أو مساويا له أو أنه لا يصلح لهذا الزمان أو أراد بحكم غير ما أنزل الله استرضاء الكفار والمنافقين فهذا كفر أكبر. The Shaykh, he brings a number of scenarios. He says that if a person believes that ruling by other than what Allah has revealed, if a person believes that ruling by what Allah has revealed is not obligatory, right? Then this person, he's what? This is major kufr. If someone believes that ruling by what Allah has revealed is not obligatory, you don't have to do it, then this is major kufr. If they believe that an individual has a choice, that he can choose to rule by what Allah has revealed, or he can choose to rule by something else, it's up to him, then this also is major kufr. If an individual belittles the rule of Allah, then this too is major kufr, major disbelief. Or if they believe that the man-made laws are better than what Allah has revealed, then this is major disbelief. or if they believe that the modern day laws are equal and equivalent to what Allah has revealed, incomparable to what Allah has revealed, then this too is major disbelief. Or if they believe that ruling by what Allah has revealed is not suitable for this time era that we live in, for this era that we live in, then this too is major disbelief. Or if a person believes that ruling, or if a person rules by other than what Allah has revealed to please the kuffar or to please the hypocrites, then this is major disbelief. Naam. وَإِنِ اعْتَقَدَ وُجُوبَ الْحُكْمِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ, and if he knows the obligation of ruling by what Allah has revealed, وعلمه في هذه الواقع وعدل عنه مع اعترافه بأنه مستحق للعقوبة فهذا عاص. But if a person, he rules by other than what Allah has revealed, but he knows that what Allah has revealed is better, is more just and the like, and this is why he acknowledges the fact that he is wrong and he is eligible and he deserves punishment, then this person, he's a sinner. He's a sinner and he's not a kafir. Naam, he's a sinner and he's not a kafir. Shaykh said, يُسَمَّى كَافِرًا كُفْرًا أَصْغَرًا, then he's called a person who has committed minor kufr. And minor kufr, as we took early in the book, it does not remove a person from Islam, and it does not destroy all of one's deeds. So he's a Muslim, but he fallen into a major sin. Naam. فإن جهل حكم الله فيها مع بذل جهده واستفراغ وسعه في معرفة الحكم وسعيه في معرفة الحكم والأخطاء فهذا مخطئ. But if a person doesn't know the ruling of Allah in a particular affair, now we start to get into another issue, the more specific issues, right? If a person doesn't know the ruling of Allah in a specific affair, a specific issue, like say a specific ruling comes up for discussion and the like with the judges, and the Shaykh is going to mention that what he's talking about here is specific to the judges. That if an issue comes up and a person, he doesn't know the ruling of Allah as relates to that particular issue, right? But he tries his best to find out what is the ruling, and he strives hard to know what is the right ruling according to the deen of Al-Islam, but he makes a mistake. He makes a mistake in his research, he makes a mistake in his application or understanding and the like, and subsequently he happens to rule by other than what Allah has revealed. This person, he is just mistaken. He made a mistake. You see? له أجر على اجتهاده. He will have a reward for his exerting his efforts. He will have a reward for the exhortation, or for him exerting his efforts. وَخَطُؤُ مَغْفُورٌ, and his mistake is forgiven. You see, for the judge, if at the end of the affair he happens to rule by other than what Allah had revealed, because he didn't know what was Allah's ruling in that particular issue, but he tried his hardest to find what is the truth, he tried his hardest to do the research and to find what is the proper stance in this particular ruling, but he came up short and ended up ruling by other than what Allah has revealed in that particular issue, then this person is just he's mistaken. He made a mistake. The qadi made a mistake, the mujtahid made a mistake, right? But he's still rewarded for his ijtihad. He's rewarded for him exerting himself and trying to find the right answer, the right stance, and he will be forgiven for his mistake. And as the Shaykh, he mentions, this is as relates وَهَذَا في حكم القضية الخاصة. This is for the judge, right? Or you can say the ruler, right? The judge or the ruler, as relates to a specific affair. So we see that what? This issue is not black and white by anyone's standards. It is not black and white, but it has a lot of details and a lot of different components. Now, that if the ruler or the judge, they're looking at a specific situation, and they're trying to rule by what Allah has revealed, but they don't know what it is. So they do the research, and they strive their best to come to the proper conclusion and the proper ruling, but they are mistaken, then they're just wrong in this affair, and their error will be forgiven, and they get rewarded. And they get rewarded, why? Because they strove to find the right ruling and to be upon the truth and in compliance with the truth. But because they're humans, and they came up short. Humans sometimes come up short. They make mistakes. They don't hit the target. But the Shaykh, he mentions that this is as relates to specific specific situations, specific rulings. Now, we're not speaking about general rulings, but we're talking about specific rulings. Now you have the issue of, okay, what about general rulings? General rulings that will have an impact on the mass of society. What about those issues? So now the Shaykh, he wants to speak about this affair. Not specific things that may relate to a person, in his case, but things that, for lack of a better term, will set a precedent and that are applicable to society as a whole. The Shaykh says, وَأَمَّا الْحُكْمُ فِي الْقَضَايَا الْعَامَّةِ فَإِنَّهُ يَخْتَلِفُ. He said, but those general rulings that encompass the whole of a society, he said, then this is different. قال الشيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية, Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he said, فَإِنَّ الْحَاكِمُ إِذَا كَانَ دِيِّنًا. He said, the ruler, if he is religious, he's religious. Now, وَلَكِنَّهُ حَكَمَ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. He's religious, but he ruled he ruled without knowledge. Meaning, he's religious, but he just made a ruling, and he didn't know Allah's rule. He didn't know Allah's rule, but he just ruled anyway out of ignorance. Now, he ruled anyway without ignorance. He didn't put forth the research. He just guessed at it, or whatever. Best effort, as they say, but without doing research. كَانَ مِنْ أَهْلِ النَّارِ. Then this person is deserving to be from the people of the fire. Why? Because he didn't even try to find the right ruling. He didn't put forth the ijtihad to try to find the right ruling. And we're speaking about an affair that affects the masses. Not just one person in his case, but affects all the cases. It affects all of the society, or the majority of the society. Right? Then this person, he's deserving to be from the people of the fire. This is if he was ignorant, but didn't try to find out what was the rule. وَإِنْ كَانَ عَالِمًا. And if he knew what Allah's rule was, وَلَكِنَّهُ حَكَمَ بِخِلَافِ الْحَقِّ الَّذِي يَعْلَمُ. But he ruled in contrary to the truth that he knew. كَانَ مِنْ أَهْلِ النَّارِ. Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah said, then this one too is from the people of the fire. He deserves to be from the people of the fire. Right? Because he knew Allah's rule, but he went against it and did what he wanted to anyway. Right? Then this person is deserving to be from the people of fire. فَإِذَا حَكَمَ بِلَا عَدْلٍ وَلَا عِلْمٍ. And if he made a ruling that wasn't out of justice, because you see, in the previous examples, a person who made the rule without knowledge, he was trying to be fair. He was trying to bring forth justice. Even a person who ruled and he knew Allah's rule, and he did it, he didn't have any knowledge in doing that. A person who ruled and he didn't have any knowledge, a person who ruled and he went against what he knew, then of course he deserves to be from the people of fire. Now what about a situation where a person, he didn't have any ilm, he didn't have any knowledge, right? And in his ruling, in his judgment, he wasn't concerned about being just. He didn't care about being just. He didn't care about trying to be right. He just was doing whatever he was doing for whatever reasons and agenda that he had, but he didn't care about being right. So this individual, he ruled not in justice, nor from knowledge. أولى أن يكون من أهل النار. And he has more right to be from the people of the fire. Right? وهذا إذا حكم في قضية للشخص. He says, and this is if he rules in an issue that deals with an individual. That's particular to an individual. If this case scenario fits, he didn't have any knowledge and he didn't try to do what's right. Right? Even in the case of ruling in a specific individual that doesn't affect everyone, he still deserves to be from the people to fire. Why? Because he didn't even try to find out what was right, nor was he trying to be just in that ruling. That makes sense? The Shaykh says, وَأَمَّا إِذَا حَكَمَ حُكْمًا عَامًّا فِي الدِّينِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. He said, but if he makes a ruling in the general affairs of the religion of the Muslims, فَجَعَلَ الْحَقِّ بَاطِلًا وَالْبَاطِلِ حَقًّا وَالسُّنَّةِ بِدْعَةً وَبِدْعَةً سُنَّةً وَمَعْرُوفٌ مُنْكَرًا وَالْمُنْكَرُ مَعْرُوفًا فَنَهَى عَمَّا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ وَالرَّسُولُ وَأَمَرَ بِمَا نَهَى اللَّهُ عَنْهُ وَالرَّسُولُ فَهَذَا لَوْنٌ آخَرٌ. He says, but if an individual, he rules in the general affairs that affect the religion of all the Muslims, but this person, he presents the truth like it's falsehood. He presents falsehood like it's the truth. He presents the sunnah like it's bid'ah. And he presents bid'ah like it's the sunnah. He presents good like it is bad. And he presents bad like it is good. And he prohibits what Allah has commanded and what the Messenger ﷺ has commanded, or if he orders with that which Allah has prohibited and that which the Messenger ﷺ has prohibited, the Shaykh, he says, then this is a whole nother color. And as we say, this is a shoe of a whole nother color. Now, it's something totally different. يَحْكُمْ فِيهِ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Then Allah, the Lord of all that exists, he ruled as related to this individual, Ilahul Mursaleen, the Lord and the one who the messengers they used to worship. Malik Yawmuddin, Allah who is the owner of the day of judgment, the king of the day of judgment. Alladhi lahul hamd fil ula wal akhirah, the one who has the praise, who is deserving of all praise in the first of the affair and at the end. Lahul hukum wa ilayhi turja'un. Then unto Allah is the ruling and unto Allah is the return. For Allah is the ruling and unto Allah is the return. وَهُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا. Allah is the one who has sent His messenger with the religion of truth, or Allah the one who has sent His messenger with the guidance and the true religion, to make it uppermost and superior over all of the religions, and Allah is sufficient as a judge, or a witness, Allah is sufficient as a witness. Naam. So for the one who tries to do these things, then of course he will never be able to get away with that. That will never stick. You understand? Falsehood will never stick, and his affair will be exposed. And with regards to the ruling of this individual, then bila shak wa bila rayb, because it goes far beyond the other ones in which we mentioned, in which the Shaykh, he says, kana min ahl an-nar, that they are deserving to be from the people of the fire. This one supersedes and goes far beyond that, because he tries to make the truth, he takes the truth and make it look like it's falsehood, takes the falsehood and make it look like it's the truth, to the end of it. This one, he will never get that off, for lack of a better term. Falsehood will leave. Falsehood does not remain. The truth remains. What's done for Allah remains. Now, it's very important to understand that individuals, they can come with whatever agenda they have, and they can come with whatever that they have at their disposal, and try to make it seem like whatever it is. they will only be able to get away with that for a certain period of time, and then it will be destroyed, and they will have to face what they had done. They're going to be held accountable for what they have done. So never get saddened because people support falsehood and make it seem like it's the truth. They support bid'ah, make it seem like it's the sunnah, to the end of it. Never become saddened because they get a win a day from the days. Now, know that all support of falsehood is temporary. People doing things for personal agendas and all that is temporary. People doing things for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever they may get, a little bit of win they may get, is temporary. You understand? It will never stick. But rather they're going to be held accountable for that. They're going to be punished for what they have done. They're going to face the end result and the consequences for what they had put forward. So that will never last. Why? Because Allah Ta'ala, as He tells us here in this ayah, هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى, He is the one who has sent His messenger بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ, and the right religion. Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that the meaning of huda here in this ayah, ilmun nafi', that guidance here in this ayah, it means beneficial knowledge. Allah sent His messenger with beneficial knowledge. Wa din al-haq, the true religion, means amalu salih, righteous actions, righteous, good, correct actions. Naam. And this beneficial knowledge and actions in accordance to it, this is the true religion. This is the deen. And Allah Ta'ala, He says, لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ, to make it victorious over all of the other ways. All of the other ways of life, all of the other religions. The deen of Al-Islam will be victorious over them all. And Allah is enough as a witness. It's enough that Allah Ta'ala is a witness. As a witness, yani. It's enough proof that Allah Ta'ala is a witness. You understand? So whatever these individuals put forward, trying to make it seem like it's from the Sunnah, but it's not going to last. Why? This is Allah's religion. This is Allah's religion. You understand? People trying to make it seem like, oh, this thing here is the truth, and that's really what Islam is, and it's not. It's the total opposite. Allah will expose it. Allah would expose that, no, that what you're saying is not from Islam, it's not Islamic. Islam is something, it's the total opposite of that. So they're never going to be able to get that off. It's never going to stick, but it will be for a period of time, and then it will vanish. Because when the truth comes, the falsehood disappears. When the truth comes, the falsehood, it vanishes. And this is the reality. Na'am. وقال أيضا, Shaykh al-Islam, he also said, لا ريب أن من لم يعتقد وجوب الحكم بما أنزل الله على رسوله فهو كافر. This is a reiteration of what we mentioned earlier, is that the one who does not believe, the one who doesn't believe in the obligation of ruling by what Allah has revealed upon His messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then no doubt this person is a kafir. The one who says we don't have to rule by the Sharia, it's not binding, it's not obligatory, then there's no doubt this person is a kafir, because it is obligatory that we rule by what Allah has revealed. فَمَنْ اسْتَحَلَّ أَنَّ حُكُمْ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ بِمَا يَرَاهُ هُوَ عَدَلًا مِنْ غَيْرِ اتِّبَاعٍ لِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ كَافِرٌ. I want everyone to pay very close attention to this point. Whoever believes that it is okay, it is permissible, more than that, whoever believes that it is halal, to judge amongst the people with what they see, to judge amongst the people with their desires or with what they see as being justice, without following that which Allah has revealed, then this person is a kafir. You understand? Even if a person is trying to be just and trying to be fair and trying to do something that's beneficial for the people, but he does it according to his opinion, whether that opinion is, now I want you to understand this, whether that opinion is knowledge based or not, What do I mean by knowledge base? Meaning that if a person exerted himself, whether it be by way of surveys, whether it be by way of studies, whether it be by examining, whatever information and data and so on and so forth, and they're not concerned with looking at what Allah revealed, they're doing it just based on their own human effort, based upon their human intellect, what they think is going to be better for the people, and what they think is going to be justice for the people to bring about justice, and they don't look, they have no concern for what Allah has revealed. This person is a kafir. You understand? This person is a kafir. This is kufr. In other words, let me explain it to you in another way that's easier, a way that I can sum it up in one word, what this concept entails. Right? Because remember, the concept is what is by individuals going on their opinion of what they think is best, and that's what becomes the rule. What the people think is the best. To put it in another way, in other words, what? Democracy is kufr. Because it's exactly what democracy is. What the people deem to be what's best and more just, or the group of representatives, selective representatives, or elected representatives, who will look at the people's situation and then make a decision based on what they think is best for everybody else. This is kufr. This is disbelief. Not even looking to what Allah has revealed, then this is disbelief. Bila shak wa bila rayb. It's important that we understand this concept in reality, because you have from the modernists, people who say things like Ahlul Bid'ah. Yeah, well, the modernist is Ahlul Bid'ah, you know what I mean. People who say that democracy is an Islamic expression, for lack of a better term, or like yani, democracy is in reality an Islamic concept. And they say, oh, like the shura system, like the shura. That's what they say. Democracy is an Islamic concept. Really, it's like shura. We say shura, they say democracy. No, it's a big difference. No, because democracy, what is the rule of the people by the people, what the people see as being what they think and whatever is best for them. That's democracy. You understand? And then you have what is a representative democracy, where not the individual people, they're not the ones who make the rules, but they elect officials who will make the rules for them. So their choice is in electing the officials, and the officials are the one who make the rules. You understand? That's kind of democracy that we got here in America. The people elect the officials, and the officials is the one who makes the rules. Not that every individual do what he think. Right? Because that's one form of democracy. But this one, they elect officials, and officials make the rules for them. But it's the same difference. Is that what? It's human beings ruling themselves by what they see. This is kufr. That's what democracy is. They don't look at what Allah Ta'ala has revealed. The shura is not like that whatsoever. The shura is a system where if an issue comes, then you have those that have experience, those that have ilm, those that have know-how, right? Who will look at this issue and come to a ruling based on the sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal. You with me? The issue comes up, modern issue comes up, how do we deal with so on and so forth, right? It's the shura that will come together, those ulama, ahl al-ilm, you understand? That will come together, look at a situation, and then give the ruling based upon the sharia. Give an example. An example of this, this concept we're talking about. The issue of cigarettes. Did they have cigarettes in the time of the Prophet ﷺ? No. We're talking about the cigarettes we got. Did people smoke tobacco back then and so on and so forth? But we're talking about cigarettes, smoking cigarettes, and how it has reached. So do we find and what I mean, did the people smoke tobacco in that time in the world? In the world, not in the Arabian Peninsula. Because if it was something that was there in society, there in prevalent society, we would have a specific proof and evidence about it, mentioning it as an item. So I mean, that's something no one brings about. But the Aztecs and that. All right, whatever. Well, we're saying that just in general, was cigarettes something that was prevalent in society back then? No, we don't have a hadith that mentions that cigarettes by the name cigarette is haram, or or an ayah that speaks about cigarettes, specifically cigarettes. So when the issue of cigarettes comes up now, is it halal, is it haram? How do we know the ruling? You understand? The ulama, right? Could we bring an example of shura, talking about a ruling that is not apparent, right? So the ulama studied the issue. Studied the issue of the cigarette, studied the issue of the effects of it on the body, so on and so forth and that. And in light of the Qur'an, and in light of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, they said what? That the ruling for cigarettes is that is haram. Is haram. Right? From the reasons that they were extracted, they say that it's haram, is because it's something that is what? It is harmful. It's harmful, right? And we have the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, La darar wa la dirar, that there is no harming nor reciprocation of harm. This is a general rule in Islam. Anything that is harmful is what is haram. Anything that is harmful and its harm outweighs its benefits, then it is haram. Okay? Also, from another standpoint, from the aspect that cigarettes lead to various forms of cancer, and cancer, is a terminal ailment that leads to an individual's death, then by individual developing those types of cancer due to their smoking or taking or using of tobacco products, then this is tantamount to a person killing himself. And Allah Ta'ala says what translated means, and do not destroy yourself by your own hands. Don't kill yourself. Right? So when you look at these proofs and these evidences, right, in light of the research and that which is linked to this particular product, then they'll say, okay, it's haram. This is haram. So this is an example of shura, where a ruling comes when he's based on the book and the sunnah. A ruling is derived and extracted based on the book and the sunnah. Now, let's take on the flip side, looking at the same issue. When it comes to over here, what they say? They say that cigarettes is lawful. It's not against the law to smoke a cigarette here in America, right? It says it's okay, but you have to be a certain age. If you look too young, you may have to show your ID, right? You have to sell a whole pack. You can't sell loosies, right? To the end of it. And if you do it according to these things and that, then it's fine. And this is all based upon what? Based upon what they see as being whatever benefit for them, or for the lobbyists in that industry and whoever. You understand? So when one looks at the two things together, it's night and day. This ain't like that whatsoever. They try to say an apple is a pomegranate, and a pomegranate is, an apple, right? We call it Chinese apple. That's all I want to confuse you. But they trying to say an apple is a pomegranate, and it's not the case. It's not the case. So, ala kulli hal, democracy is not an expression of an Islamic concept, but democracy is kufr, as we see here, because it is tantamount of individuals, what? Individuals just ruling by what they see without looking at what Allah Ta'ala has revealed, and this no doubt is kufr. فَإِنَّهُ مَا مِنْ أُمَّةٍ إِلَّا وَهِيَ تُؤْمَرُ بِالْحُكْمِ بِالْعَدْلِ. Shaykh al-Islam said, because really there's never a nation except that they try to rule by justice. They try to rule in a manner of that which is just. Every nation, every society try to do that. So a person claiming that this is what they're trying to do, then this doesn't get you any points. This is no merit, because that's a given. Every nation tries to do that, right? The Shaykh, he says, وَقَدْ يَكُونُ الْعَدَلِ فِي دِينِهَا. He says, because some people or some nations, they may see that justice in their deen, in their religion, مَا يَرَاهُ أَكَابِرَهُمْ, is that which their leaders see, or that which the elite in the society sees as being just for them. Some people, that's what they, like here in America, right? Justice, and what is just is what they say, that the elected officials, what they see it as being, and so on and so forth. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. And this is not Islamic at all. It's not Islamic at all. But this is what? This is from kufr. The Shaykh says, بل كثير من المنتصبين إلى الإسلام يحكمون بعاداتهم التي لم ينزلها الله كسواليف البادية أي عادات من سلفهم. And many people who claim Islam and who attribute themselves to Islam, they may rule according to the customary practices of which Allah has not revealed. But they may rule according to the customary practices that they have found with their people, meaning what their forefathers were upon. And it's something that's very, very, very important that we look at and make sure that we're not afflicted with it. Because some people look at things in the light of their culture, in the light of what their forefathers were upon, and that's what they utilize as a criterion for halal, haram, what you can and can't do. Give an example. For a lot of African Americans, you can't marry your cousin, right? African Americans, they say marrying your cousin is haram. Other Americans think so too, but I know, African Americans, they say marrying your cousin is haram. I know other people may be a little more, whatever, but this is what African Americans say. So a person now becomes Muslim. Can he continue to go on looking at that issue like that? Marrying your cousin is haram? No, you got to flip it up now. Because the rule of Allah is that what? It's permissible. So he said what? No, it's permissible. So he can't say, oh no, that's my cousin. Then he treat it like it's a sister. Because that's how African Americans are, right? They treat their cousin like it's a sister. Now, even West Indians, we throw them in there too. Right? West Indians, same thing. Treat their cousin like it's a sister. Marry your cousin is not even an option. Right? But can we utilize these cultural practices from pre-Islamic times to have any bearing or influence on our understanding of that particular issue? No, we cannot. Because in the Sharia, it is permissible for us to marry our cousin. So because it's permissible for us to marry our cousin, one, she's eligible to be married. Or if it's a woman, he's eligible to be married. So therefore, we treat them accordingly. We don't touch them, we don't hug them, we don't kiss them, we're not alone with them, so on and so forth. Why? Because they're an individual who is eligible between us and their marriage. So therefore we treat them accordingly. They have to cover in front of us if they're Muslims and so on and so forth, and the like. But we can't use our cultural practices. So it's important that as Muslims that we look and that we examine our lives, and that we make sure that we're not looking at things from a cultural standpoint that will contradict the Sharia. That will contradict the Sharia. As we know, those cultural practices that do not contradict the Sharia, then they are permissible. So for example, a person eating curry, not eating curry, eating plantain, not eating plantain, whatever, then that's fine, because that's something that's cultural, that has no, it does not contradict the Sharia. So if you want to eat it, eat it. Don't want to eat it, don't want to eat that. That's his preference. It's fine, right? And the like. Whatever does not contradict the Sharia, then the Sharia allows it. But whatever contradicts the Sharia, then we have to throw it away, and we have to go with what? The rule of Sharia. We can't say, oh, but for us, because it's not a problem, I'm not going to do nothing with her, so therefore it's okay. No. That's like a person saying, it's like a man saying, I can be around ugly women, it's fine. I can touch ugly women. I can, because they're ugly, so I'm not going to do nothing, so it's okay, right? No, it's not okay. It's a woman still. You can't bring some foolish excuse on why you can circumvent the rule of Allah Azza wa Jal as related to a particular issue. So he can't say, oh, that's my cousin, so it's okay, right? No, it's not okay, because your cousin's haram for you. So you can't touch her, you can't hug her, you can't take her on a trip and so on and so forth. Make sense? طيب. The Shaykh says, كانوا الأمراء al-muta'in, he said these people, meaning they listen to the people who they listen to, their leaders and those who they listen to, meaning from the pre-Islamic times, those who rule based upon cultural practices and the like. وَيَرَوْنَ أَنَّ هَذَا هُوَ الَّذِي يَنْبَغِي الْحُكْمُ بِهِ دُونَ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ وَالسُّنَّةِ. And some people think that this is what they rule with, and that this is the standard, and not the book and the sunnah. And not the book and the sunnah. فَهَذَا هُوَ الْكُفْرِ. The Shaykh, he said, this is disbelief. This here is disbelief. فَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا من الناس أسلموا ولكن لا يحكمون إلا بالعادات الجارية التي يأمر بها المطاعون، فهؤلاء إذا عرفوا أنه لا يجوز لهم الحكم إلا بما أنزل الله فلم يلتزموا ذلك بل استحلوا أن يحكموا بخلاف ما أنزل الله فهم الكفار. He says, so if a people accept Islam, remember we're speaking in general terms, if a people accept Islam but they do not rule except by their cultural practices, their cultural norms and mores and practices, that in which their leaders have commanded them with, if these individuals know that it is not permissible to rule except by that which Allah has revealed, but they do not stick to that, but rather they deem it to be permissible to rule in contradiction to what Allah has revealed, then these people are kuffar. These people are kuffar. Naam. وقال الشيخ محمد بن إبراهيم, Sheikh Muhammad bin Ibrahim, he mentioned, وَأَمَّا الَّذِي قِيلَ فِيهِ أَنَّهُ كُفْرٌ دُونَ كُفْرٍ, is that the one who was said about him that he does the minor kufr, إِذَا حَاكَمَ إِلَى غَيْرِ اللَّهِ, if he rules unto other than Allah, مَعَ اِعْتِقَادٍ أَنَّهُ عَاصٍ, but this is with the belief that he is a sinner, وَأَنَّ حُكْمُ اللَّهِ هُوَ الْحَقِّ, and he believes that the rule of Allah, then this is the truth. فَهَذَا الَّذِي يَصْدُرُ مِنْهُ الْمَرَّةِ وَنَحْوِهَا, then this is the one you find from him a time or so and the like. Meaning this one he's not a kafir. This one he's just a sinner. This one he is a sinner. نعم. وأما الذي جعل قوانين بالترتيب والتخضيع فهو كفر. But for the one who takes the man-made laws as something that is binding upon the people and tries to get people to abide by them, then this is disbelief, of course. This is disbelief. وَإِنْ قَالُوا أَخْطَأْنَا وَحُكْمُ الشَّرْعِ أَعْدَلْ فَهَذَا كُفْرٌ نَاقِلٌ عَنِ الْمِلَّةِ. Even if he says, no, I was wrong, and the Islamic legislation is better and more just, then this person, he is a kafir who has left the deen, left the religion. Naam. Meaning the one who takes the man-made laws and tries to make them binding upon the people and that, even with his acknowledgement that the Sharia is better than this person, then he is a kafir. Naam. And remember, again, we're speaking about what? The general rule. ففرق رحمه الله بين الحكم الجزئي الذي لا يتكرر وبين الحكم العام الذي هو المرجع في جميع الأحكام. He says, so he, rahimahullah, he made a distinction between a specific isolated ruling that does not repeat and a ruling that is general, that becomes a precedent in which all of the rulings refer back to, or a precedent for all of the rulings, or أو غالبها, or the majority of the rulings. Even if not all the rulings go back to it, but the majority of the rulings, or a lot of rulings, go back to it. There's a difference, right? وقرر أن هذا الكفر ناقل عن الملة مطلقا, and he said that these affairs that are general, that become a precedent in which all other rulings go back to, and that people trying to make an individual binding to it, but they are rules by other than that which Allah has revealed, then this is kufr. This is the type of disbelief that will remove a person from the religion, period. That will remove a person from religion, period. Naam, that makes sense? The Shaykh said, وَذَلِكَ لِأَنَّ مَنْ نَحْيَ شَرِيعَةِ الْإِسْلَامِ وَجَعَلَ قانون الوضعية بدلا منها فهذا دليل على أنه يرى أن القانون أحسن وأصلح من الشريعة. This is a very important point, because it goes back to further explaining what was mentioned. Now what? That if a person, if he says with his mouth, okay, yes, I was wrong, I made a mistake, but however, be that as it may, I want to make it binding on people, this particular law that's in contradiction to what Allah has revealed. And that's the precedent, and that's the standard. Even with him saying, or his acknowledgement with his mouth that, oh yeah, okay, I made a mistake, Allah's rule is better, but anyway, I still want you to do this. You understand? That this is the type of disbelief that removes you out of the religion. The Shaykh, he says, because a person leaving off the Sharia and choosing the man-made laws, over the Sharia, he said, then this is a clear proof and a clear evidence that he deems the man-made laws to be better and more suitable than the Sharia. Yeah? He deems the man-made laws to be better and more suitable than the Sharia. فَهَذَا الدَّلِيلُ عَلَىٰ أَنَّهُ يَرَىٰ أَنَّ الْقَانُونَ أَحْسَنُ وَأَصْلَحُ. This is the proof that he thinks that the man-made laws is better and more suitable من الشريعة, from the Sharia. وهذا لا شك أنه كفر أكبر يخرج من الملة وينقض التوحيد. He said that this is beyond a shadow of a doubt major disbelief that will remove a person from the religion and negate and nullify his Tawheed. Naam. So again, just as to recap, ruling by other than that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed, then sometimes an individual will rule by what Allah rule by other than what Allah has revealed, and this will be major disbelief that will remove him from the religion, as in those examples in which the Shaykh he mentioned. And then there are other times that a person will rule by other than what Allah has revealed, and he's not a disbeliever. He's not a disbeliever. Now, an example of this, the Shaykh he mentions, he brings some examples. He says if a person rules but other than what Allah has revealed, because he was bribed to do it, or because he did it because he wanted a position, he wanted a particular position or a job and the like, he said then this person is not a kafir. This person is not a kafir. Person who rules by other than what Allah has revealed out of ignorance, and of course this person is not a kafir, he didn't need a religion. A person who rules by other than what Allah has revealed because he was forced to. He was forced. He didn't want to do it. He was forced to do it. Then this person is not a kafir. The person who rules by other than what Allah has revealed mistakenly. He didn't know. He thought he was doing right. He tried to put forth the research to rule by what Allah has revealed, but he came up wrong. Then of course this person, he's mistaken. He's not a kafir at all. But rather this person, this mujtahid, he will be rewarded for his ijtihad. He'll be rewarded for the effort that he put forward. The one who rules by other than what Allah has revealed, because he was given a false interpretation of someone telling him that it's okay to do that, he's not a kafir. Even if he knows what I'm ruling by is not what Allah had revealed, but somebody told him and tricked him and deceived him into thinking that, but it's okay in Islam to do that, and he really believed that it was okay and that Allah allowed him to do this, right, based upon his person's false interpretation, he's not a kafir. He's not a kafir. You understand? It is very important that we look and we bring all of the whole of this issue into light when we look and examine at the world around us. Because when we have these things ready on our mind, it will help us into refuting the doubts of the Khawarij. Because the Khawarij come with general rules, and then they try to apply them to specific people. You follow? They come with general rules, then they try to apply them to specific people. I'll give you an example. A person who على سبيل المثال, if he comes late to the Salah, right? Or he misses the prayer. We don't see him. And then we call the Sheikh, we ask the Sheikh, we say, Sheikh, what's the ruling of a person who skip out the prayer? He don't come pray in Jama'ah in the Masjid. And the Sheikh, he gives us a general ruling, right? This is from the signs of the hypocrite, to the end of it, right? But we got the general ruling now. Now we come, next time we see the brother, we say, yeah, man, you got this, you like that, you like the Prophet ﷺ said this. Oh, he would have had somebody else lead the prayer, went to people's house and burned it down. Your house should be burned down. It wasn't for your wife and your kids. You would have did it. To the end of it. Now we saying, yeah, that's about you. You say, well, subhanAllah, right? What do you mean? You ask a general question, now you're going to try to apply to a specific person? I had a certain set of circumstances. Now you ain't seen me in the past 3 days of the prayer. I've been sick. I had the flu. I had a legislative reason why I wasn't there, or I was physically outside of the area. I was traveling. My plane just landed right now. What do you mean? You didn't even get the details of my specific situation. Now you're putting a ruling on me. When it comes to a situation like this, we all would see that this is not how it works. This is not how things should be done. If someone did it to us, for lack of a better term, we'd be crying bloody murder. How you gonna just call a sheikh and then say that was applicable to me? You didn't even know the situation, what's going on. You understand? This is on a little level. So when we look at a situation like this, how do we think it goes, as relates to our leaders? To read something general and now come and say, oh, yo, ruler so-and-so, look, Sheikh just said it. You can't apply the rule to the general ruling to ruler so-and-so, because what? You don't know the details and specifics of his situation. As he mentioned in last week's class, Sheikh Ahmed Bazmoud, he mentioned a very strong point, right? He said, can any of us truly say that we can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that the rulers who rule but other than what Allah has revealed, that they are not doing so because someone gave them a false interpretation? Can we safely say that's not why they're doing it? And the reality of it is that none of us can make that claim. None of us can say, no, I know for certainty it's not because of a false interpretation. No. I know it's not because of false interpretation. No one can say that. No one. But rather, when you hear the rulers, and they speak about certain things, it becomes evident just from their speech, that whatever error they have fallen into on this issue is due to a false interpretation. Because at the same time, all of the countries will tell you that that the laws of the land are based on Sharia. Even those countries that say that they're democratic will tell you the laws of our land are based on Sharia. Because they got a false interpretation. Somebody telling them that that's how it is. You understand? Hosni Mubarak, and we bringing him as a specific individual, right? He ruled Egypt, and they called it democratic. You understand? But as an individual, a specific individual, I heard with my own ears, on the tape, right? Sheikh Muqbar rahimahullah ta'ala, Imam Wadi'i, he mentioned, he said, Hosni Mubarak, we cannot make takfir on him. No one can say he's a kafir. No one can say he's a kafir. Even though he called himself president and he ruled his country, what he said was a democratic country. He said we cannot make takfir on him, period. We cannot say he's a kafir. He is a Muslim. Hosni Mubarak, he is a Muslim. We cannot say he's a kafir. And then he went and he brought up some very beautiful points and so on and so forth, which shows that that a lot of what he did during his time because he was forced. He was forced into doing it. Now, he was forced by bigger nations and so on and so forth to do certain things. You understand? But ala kulli hal, we know that what? If a person is forced to do something, then what? They're not a kafir. If someone comes to you by gunpoint and they say some statement of shirk, they force you by gunpoint. Say some statement of shirk, like some Christian comes to you, you know their statement that they say so and so, so and so, so and so, such and such, right? You know the saying, I don't want to say it, but you know it. And they come to you by gunpoint and they say, you better say this right now. And then you say it. A brother walked by you, he hear what you're saying. He said, brother so and so a kafir. Right? Could he make that? Could he say that? No. Why? Because there's a whole set of circumstances he didn't know about. You was forced to say it. Guy had a gun on your side. You believe your life wasn't threatened. He said, look, just say it and you good. So you said it because you didn't want to die. You didn't want to get shot. So you said it. Somebody heard you. Now can they come and make takfir on you? No. You understand? And if this is how we want to be treated, right? And we know that whatever pressures that we got going on in our life, right? However complicated our life is nowhere near the pressure and the complication of the life of the ruler. The responsibilities that's upon him, the pressure that's upon him, and so on and so forth, and the complications and so on and so forth. So if this is how we will jump in defense of ourselves and our particular lives, then how come we don't give that same, the same courtesy to our believing brothers who are the rulers of the Muslim lands? You understand? It's very important that we understand this point, and that we don't be like Ahlul Bid'ah, because you find Ahlul Bid'ah, as the ulama they explain, you find Ahlul Bid'ah from the Khawarij. They're Khawarij when it comes to the Hukam. When it comes to the rulers, they're Khawarij. Make takfir on the rulers, fight against the rulers, so on and so forth. But when it comes to when it comes to assessing themselves, they're Murji. They come from the Murji'ah. When it comes to themselves, but you don't rule by the book of Allah and this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. No, it's okay, brother. Qalbi abyad. I gotta work hard. My iman is strong. It's okay. It's okay for you to slack on certain things, but then you're going to hold the ruler tooth and nail to every single thing? Is that okay for him? But it's okay for you? The ruler don't enforce hijab. He don't enforce it. But how many your wife, your daughter, none of them cover? You don't enforce hijab in your house. What are you talking about? You're going to blame the ruler because some girl walked down the street and she didn't have a khimar on. But you got people that you in direct responsibility and control over don't cover. It's okay for you, but you want to blame the ruler because there's a mall and people go there and scantily clad. Ya Salaam, come on. You blame the rulers. The ruler don't establish the prayer. You may live in a household nobody pray Fajr. But then you can talk about the ruler don't establish the prayer and what's the name of that? Ya Salaam. Khawarij when it comes to the ruler, when it comes to themselves, Murji. It's very important, ya ikhwa, that we remember the likes of these things so that we could deal with our brothers and our sisters in the right manner and not fall victim to the plots of the Khawarij. Because the Khawarij are I can't even describe to you how despicable the Khawarij are. Just to give you an example, and we'll end up on this. Sheikh Sulaiman Ruhaili, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he mentioned just yesterday that the Khawarij are so despicable. He said they're utilizing game consoles to spread their da'wah. People, because you have like these warring games where you pick teams and so on and so forth, you can communicate people all around the world. They're infiltrating these games. Whoever has these games, be very careful with your children and know who they're speaking to on these games. He said they infiltrate these games, they be talking with each other, and they give da'wah to the Khariji way while they're playing the game. So the kid is playing the game, he comes on the game, he's playing with other kids, as opposed to saying, hey, go over there, flank this one, do that. They on there talking, Khariji stuff, giving da'wah. So much so that one of the kids, the Sheikh he mentions, one of the kids, they was trying to recruit him. ISIS was trying to recruit him by these anonymous members who took personas of people playing the game, different gamers playing the game, and they was talking to the kid, trying to give the kid dawah. And when they thought they had the kid, they told the kid, you know what? So I guess the kid was telling about his family. You know, they ask questions, probing questions about the family, this, that, and that. This Khariji, listen, told this young man on the game system, what it was, I don't know, whatever. He told him, kill your mother and you'll go to Jannah. Kill your mother and you'll go to Jannah. A'udhu billah. Naam. The kid told his mother what had happened. SubhanAllah, this guy told me to kill you if I want to go to Jannah. You understand? This is to the extent of the filth of these Khawarij. They're utilizing every means at their disposal to spread their filth. So it is incumbent that we explain the true Islamic Aqeedah and the true Islamic stance, so as to fortify ourselves and those who are near to us, and that we can reach, so that they can fortify themselves against the propaganda of the Khawarij, and in particular against the propaganda of ISIS. Now, because they leave no stone unturned. They try to spread it with WhatsApp, they try to spread it with Telegram, they try to spread it on Facebook, they try to spread it on Twitter, and so much so that they even taking the gaming consoles that are international. You can play with gamers across the world, and they're entering into these things trying to give dawah to people. Trying to give dawah to people and to turn them into their way. So we have to be very wise when it comes to these things, so that we're able to distinguish the general rule from the application of that rule on a specific individual. This will we'll be able to combat the doubts of these filthy dogs of the fire when they come our way. Bismillahi ta'ala. ونكتفي بهذا القدر. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.